Welcome back, Maclane.
What are we talking about today, Lori?
We're talking about the Book of Revelations.
Are you? Is that what you're talking about?
I can't do it right. Yes,
Try.
we're talking about... Try. We're talking about the Book of Revelation. Actually,
Okay.
we're talking about Apocalypse. Okay. Is this going to be distracting? Do I need to separate you two?
Anytime you have $20 on
Stop
the table?
Stop it.
Yes.
That's all the ATM had. It doesn't give out ones. It's a good point.
That makes sense.
All right, yeah, we're talking about the apocalypse. But let's go back.
I feel like every time we say apocalypse, it should be like dun dun
it
dun.
needs a dun dun dun.
Yeah.
We're talking about it needs a theme. It needs a motif.
A theme song guy.
Okay. Hey, we're talking about the apocalypse.
Dun dun dun.
So let's start from the beginning. Yeah, I hope we keep that. But let's start at the beginning. What is an apocalypse? So we throw those words out a bunch, right?
Yeah.
So if we're reading the Bible or we're studying Scripture, we may come across the Book of Revelation or the apocalypse. But let's start from what is an apocalypse? What's the type, that book type, stuff like that, and see if we can kind of unpack that.
So there's like 4 or 5 different A words, right?
Yeah.
Then some that we won't talk about, their definition, but
Fair.
some that we will, right?
Okay.
So let's just quickly what are we
So
A
let's
words?
do. I think there's just an apocalypse. What is an apocalypse?
Okay.
What else?
Do we want to talk about like the difference between apocalypse and like I made it wrong. Apocalypticism.
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 Yeah, so I think that would be a good one. Apocalypticism. I think we should do apocalyptic literature.
Okay.
What type of book? And
Apocrypha?
Whoa! Yeah! Jinx! You owe me a Coke.
Oh. Fine.
Okay.
Maybe we pay for that.
Okay. Oh.
Okay,
So let's do
start
apocalypse. Start with apocalypse. Tell us, what's an apocalypse? What does that word mean? If I'm just talking to a friend of mine and we said, hey, it's the apocalypse, it's the zombie apocalypse, it's World War Z, what are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about how zombies would be revealed to the world, unveiled.
Okay, that's tricky. So, yeah, I think we make fun of it, but I think there is a lot where it's like an apocalypse is like the end of the earth, something really tragic, right? Something just big, just the end of the earth, end of time. The world is ending. That's what we think of.
The world is ending.
The world is ending, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what we think of.
Is that what the Bible is when it says an apocalypse?
It's not the way I read it.
What does it mean in the Bible? I'm throwing a softball. Hey, Maclane, what does it mean in the Bible? It doesn't mean it's the end of the world, so what does it mean?
An unveiling.
An unveiling. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. And
Okay,
I think
good,
it's one of those where we've taken the Greek word and we just say it. Like angels, right? That's a Greek word and we just say it angels now. But we didn't convert it to messenger. So same thing with apocalypse. An apocalypse is an unveiling. So we use the word reveal. It's the same word, right? So let's talk about a couple examples. There are other examples of this unveiling. Well, what is it unveiling?
The Book of Revelation is specifically unveiling Christ.
Yeah, Christ. What about other apocalypses in the Bible? There are others, like you have Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jacob, Daniel. Oh yeah, Daniel. But there are times when other things are revealed when they see the Lord. Right, they're revealing. I think of it.
Is it always unveiling the Lord? Is that pretty uniform?
It does seem like it. It seems like they're the seeing what's there that we can't see without spiritual eyes. So Isaiah is, he's in the temple and he sees, kind of the bottom half of the Lord on his throne and it trailing down. It's like, hey, it was there all along. Or Jacob, one of my favorites, at the end of Genesis, right? Goes to sleep on this rock in the desert. He's fleeing his brother and he sees, the Jacob's ladder, the ramp going up into heaven and angels coming down and up. And he says, this is this gateway to heaven, which I didn't suppose. I didn't know this was here. So it feels like it's this revealing, unveiling what's been there all along, the reality that we can't see. What do you think?
I think it's beautiful.
Do you think it's right? Do you think it's right?
Let's not let that get in the way.
If it was beautiful, it must be good.
Beautiful. But I love that concept that Christ has been there all the time.
All along.
He's been there all along. He's the beginning and the end. And at different moments in our life, we have an unveiling where we're able to see him.
Yeah, you're like, I didn't know it was there all along, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're apocalypses. They're moments of revelation, moments of unveiling. Pull back the curtain, see what was there, and these people are having these events in the scriptures. And do we have those events today? Let's save that for a different discussion. Da da da.
Yeah.
To be continued.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's apocalypse, the event, an unveiling.
Yep.
Big word, unveiling, right? See what's behind the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz. Don't copyright that. And then we got to pay for that. And then okay, so then what is apocalyptic literature?
Okay, so this describes the whole genre, right?
Ooh, big word.
Genre, whole
Style,
good.
flavor.
Yep.
Okay.
Of writing.
Okay.
And
What's another genre? Apocalyptic literature, poetry.
great.
Prose,
Yeah.
right? Just
Yep. Chiasm is one that we won't talk about.
Big
'cause
word.
You just gave me that look.
I was like, bro,
great.
man, some scholarly word.
That's
But
a killer.
yeah, but we get that in like, I read the newspaper, or well, nobody reads the newspaper. I watch YouTube video. That's a genre. I watch a movie, and it might be drama, it might be a period piece, it might be a rom-com. Those are genres.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are different kinds like that in the Bible. And so then what is apocalyptic literature?
So I would say that there's a couple of There's a couple of different common things that help us to lump apocalyptic literature together.
Okay.
And part of it is this idea of unveiling.
Okay.
Because some of the things that are common to apocalyptic literature are symbols and imagery, right?
Yeah.
That require some unveiling as we read through, right? Some revealing.
Okay.
To
I
help
see
us
what you're
understand
saying.
what's actually being presented.
For
And
sure.
The book of Revelation is like
Uber symbol.
right. I mean, it's like the poster child for this type of.
Wait, you didn't do it. Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
It needed the song.
Yeah.
The revelation.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's so many symbols, right? So you're like a woman with stars in her head and a beast, and they're coming out, and it's 7 heads and
Dragons.
dragons.
I just love that one, so I'll mention
Dragons.
that one. Dragons.
Trumpets.
Right.
Trumpets, bowls, right? Seals. It just goes on and on and on.
Yeah,
So you're
it
right.
does.
I think
every
it is.
page it's like, oh wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know dragons
Okay,
were
so
real. Dragons.
So
What?
No, I was just thinking it. So you're like you lost me. So it was like, okay, so you're gonna have symbols. Who receives these things?
Okay, prophets are the ones that are teaching, right?
Okay.
And they typically have a guide that leads them through a visionary experience that then they're presenting to the reader in a veiled way through symbolism.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Are there any other examples in the Bible we can think of? I was thinking of, you mentioned Daniel, right? Daniel 7. He's a beast with horns. In fact, I think what happens with John is John uses these symbols and uses these things over and over again, right? And he's expecting you to go back and like know him from the past. Like it's just every verse is just, in fact, it reminds me of the Taco Bell menu. And you're going to say, how does it remind you of the Taco Bell menu? But
Lori, how does it remind you of the Taco Bell menu?
Well, I'm going to tell you how, Maclane.
Okay.
You know how you eat like Mexican food and it's like a taco, a burrito, an enchilada, and they're basically the same stuff kind of mushed together. And then Taco Bell does the Franken thing. Like it's like the enchilada beefy quesadilla. And you're like, I put a burrito in a thing and it's delicious. And I think that's what John does. He's going to take a little from part A and a little from part B, and you get the...
John is the beginning of Taco Bell. I mean, he's the biblical Taco Beller.
He's the biblical symbolic Taco Beller. It's the the beefy enchilada symbol beast dragon.
So he takes all of the imagery from everyone else and packs it into his book.
Yeah, it's a mosaic, right? We use that one a lot. It's a mosaic. He takes these different images, he breaks them, he takes the little pieces, and he creates a new image, right? Little bits. You've seen those photo mosaics where you take them all. And So I feel like
you do that in high school,
Yeah.
like every semester. It's great.
Yeah, and you're like, I was artistic.
Create
I used
a mosaic that
and a
describes
mosaic,
you.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like that, but with ideas. So I think the prophet is doing that, right? So I think you said prophet. I think you said symbols. Okay. Anything else?
Okay, I can't ever say it first round. Apocalypticism.
It's not even an S, but you deserve it.
I do.
Okay. That's distracting. We're gonna put it back here.
Apocalypticism.
Apocalyptus. Now you got me saying it. So we've got an apocalypse, an unveiling.
Yep.
You've got a type of literature that
Yep.
has these features that's bigger. So we gave Daniel, Ezekiel, Joel, Amos. I'm giving them. Isaiah, Jacob. I mean, there are a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Right. So these moments of
Yeah.
them, and then there's sections of the book that's like that. Mark has some apocalyptic literature. And then there's apocalypticism. What's that?
So this, I think this is an interpretation of the apocalypses, right? That we're reading, and oftentimes it's characterized by. Well, I actually think that you have a mosaic. This is a bad example of a mosaic, but like you have a picture, right, that has all these little pieces, and if you get myopically,
show them the mosaic. Yeah.
You get all these little pieces, right? And it creates an image, but if we get too now I'm like acting, right? Like if we get too close up to the mosaic and to the symbols,
you can't see anything.
All we see is the dragon. Like how I brought that up again.
Yeah.
All we see is the dragon, and we can't see the actual purpose of the larger image.
You can't see the picture. So it's like all these symbols lead to Christ. If I did the big photo mosaic, it would be Jesus Christ. But if I get too close, I'm like, I just see a dragon.
Then you see these, it seems as though you get individuals that interpret these symbols, and they get so close to symbols, and they equate those symbols with meanings that then leads to a different interpretation than the entire
So you have to take the
image.
big picture.
Yeah.
So apocalypticism. So apocalypticism is this tendency for the end of the earth, right? To look for it and say it's the end of days. We're preparing. I mean, not that preparation isn't good. I'm not saying anything like that, and I'm not saying it's a bad idea to draw closer to the Savior, but it does seem like we've taken it too far when we get to apocalypticism. This countdown of days. This. We've seen it. Even like recently in 2011, there was a guy that said it's May 21st or something.
Yeah.
I remember when the Mayan.
It wasn't. Just to be clear, it didn't happen.
Oh.
It didn't happen then.
Okay, well you're right. We're still here. So, but there've been a lot of those, right? Over and over and over again.
Over and over again.
Right. We found the day. That's that's probably not what the book is doing. Is a countdown clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was one other word we threw out that sometimes gets mixed with this: apocrypha. So apocrypha are a number of books that are not in everybody's canon. So for many Protestants, it's not in there. But Jesus had them in his books. They were books of the Bible that were maybe unsure of who wrote them, or they were just used in various things like Tobit, Jubilees,
the Maccabees.
Yeah, like Yay Hanukkah, right? We're on that. So that's apocrypha. It's a grouping of books. Then there's the pseudepigrapha, another big word. We're still talking about books of the Bible, right? Those are someone wrote in somebody else's name, and it's unknown. So like Enoch is a good example of Enoch didn't write it, but it was written in the style of Enoch, written probably 3rd, 4th century BCE, and said Enoch, but Enoch would have been dead by 3,000 years. Enoch.
So I mean, almost contemporary.
Fake name, almost 3,000 years later. So there's a group of books that sometimes you say they're pseudepigrapha, right? Which is just a fake name or separate or name, maybe not fake, but my Greek's terrible. So that, and then there is apocryphal, which is it's no good. It's bad. Like if I wrote it and said, I'm Peter, and I said this, that would be apocryphal. Just fake.
And I would call you out on it.
I hope so. Because you could probably tell, because Peter doesn't write in English. Sure. So the ones, we're not talking about those last ones. We're just going to say, what is an apocalypse, unveiling? What is apocalyptic literature, the style, the whole book or sections of the book, and then at times staying away from end times or kind of the end of days.
Perfect.
Okay, we got it.
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, if you want to watch more videos on Patheos, go ahead and subscribe to the whole channel.